We are going to start with a new chapter in the unit of human physiology, and that is excretory products and their elimination, or it's also known as excretion and osmoregulation. So first, what is excretion? Let's define excretion. So excretion is basically the removal of waste. So removal of waste materials, waste products. So it's the removal of waste products, all the waste materials like ammonia, urea, uric acid, amino acids, etc. So excretion is again the removal of whatever waste products are there in our body, its removal, like excreting or getting rid of waste materials. And what is osmoregulation? Osmoregulation, to define osmoregulation, it is the maintenance of water, so water, H2O, and ion balance in our body. So osmoregulation is the maintenance of water and ion balance, means water and ions are balanced in our body. So that is nothing but osmoregulation. So in unicellular organisms or also in multicellular organisms, the contractile vacuoles, the vacuoles which are present, help in osmoregulation. And again, what is osmoregulation? It is the maintenance of water and ion balance in our body. Now we are going to take a look at the wastes. So we are going to focus on this part here, excretion. This also osmoregulation we are going to discuss in our later videos. So excretion is the removal of waste products. Now this excretory products, so these excretory products which are eliminated, so excretory products which are given out or eliminated are usually nitrogenous wastes. I'm sure you must have heard this term before. So they are called as nitrogenous wastes. So the excretory products which are eliminated are usually nitrogenous wastes. Now apart from this nitrogenous wastes, there can be water. So water, there can be some carbon dioxide or some pigments. There can be some vitamins. So vitamins, some drugs, etc. So and some drugs. So excretory products include nitrogenous wastes. So nitrogenous wastes are common. Apart from this, there can be water as an excretory waste, carbon dioxide, pigments, some pigments, vitamins, and some drugs as well. So this is about excretory products. The main thing is that they're called as nitrogenous wastes. So let us see the two types or two ways how these nitrogenous wastes are formed. So two ways. The first one is by external, or we produce these nitrogenous waste by external forms and internal. It can be external or internal. External means it is through the proteins and all the other nutrients which we get from food. So food is not present in our body, like directly we don't take food from our body. It is an external source, so from outside we are getting it. So this external nitrogen space are formed or they're produced through food. This is just an example. So external form or external way where nitrogenous wastes are produced is through food. This is just an example, but there can be many. So coming to internal, an example for internal form of production of nitrogenous waste, it can be through some internal processes. So internal living processes like, like what? Like breakdown of nucleic acids. So like breakdown means like breaking it or splitting. So breakdown of nucleic acids. So through internal process like the breakdown of nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are present in our DNA, genetic material, RNA, proteins, etc. So external forms through food, internal forms through some internal processes like in our body, in the living system itself, like breakdown of nucleic acids. So here food is important. These are just an examples. So this is breakdown of nucleic acids. So nitrogenous waste can be external, internal. External is through food or by food. Internal is by internal processes in the living system which are taking place like breakdown of nucleic acids. Now let us take a look at the types of nitrogenous wastes which can exist. So, types of nitrogenous wastes. So, the different types of nitrogenous wastes which are present. The first one is, so we are talking about nitrogenous waste. Apart from this nitrogenous waste, there can be carbon dioxide, water, some pigments, drugs and vitamins, etc. So if we take nitrogenous wastes into consideration, the first one is ammonia. And the second one is urea, so urea or urine, and the third one is uric acid. Now, ammonia, urea and uric acid. Ammonia is an example of nitrogenous waste, and this ammonia, chemical formula or chemical form of ammonia is NH3. So it's called as NH3. Now what about the organisms which give out ammonia, which excrete ammonia? They have a special term and they're called as ammonotelic. So ammonotelic, this is very important. So they are called as amonotelic organisms. Ammonia producing or ammonia excreting organisms are known as amonotelic, as the name suggests again. Coming to urea, the organisms which excrete urea are called as ureotelic. Ureotelic organisms. Coming to uric acid. So uric acid is one more nitrogenous waste, and the organisms which excrete this one are called as uricotelic. Uricotelic organisms. Now these three, ammonia, urea and uric acid, these are just the common nitrogenous waste, but there are many other like guanine and many other nitrogenous wastes are there, but these are the most common ones: ammonia, urea and uric acid. Now coming to the first one, ammonia. Ammonia is also called as NH3 in chemical form, and the organisms which produce or which excrete ammonia are called as ammonotelic organisms. Now the process of excreting ammonia is called as ammonotelism. So that's what we're going to discuss in this video in detail. So ammonotelism. Urea producing or urea excreting are called as ureotelism. Then uricotelism. So just SM we are adding at the end of the word. So ammonotelism. The first thing that we need to remember is the excretory product, that is ammonia. So the first characteristic is excrete ammonia. They excrete ammonia, or the organisms which are ammonotelic, they excrete ammonia. Now this ammonia is also called as NH3. Now how is this ammonia formed? What is the mechanism that what is the process of production of ammonia? It is by a process called deamination of amino acids. So amino acids. So it's by deamination of amino acids. Now amino acids we get it from proteins. So amino acids are the basic units of proteins. So if you have studied biomolecules, you would have known this before only. So now what is the structure? So how does this ammonia look like? We have a carbon here in the middle and R group. Here we have COOH, and here we have hydrogen. Now this is hydrogen, this is COOH, this is R. R is something that varies. So in the previous videos where we are talking about the structure of chlorophyll molecule, there also we have looked at R. It is something that varies. Here also the same thing. This also is something that varies. And here we have NH2. Okay, here we have NH2, H, R and COOH. Now this NH2 is removed. So this is basically the deamination of amino acids, this process that we're discussing right now. So NH2 is removed. This part, so when you remove NH2, the remaining part that is left over, that includes CHR, COOH. So this thing is an organic acid. So this is an organic acid, and this organic acid is converted into carbs. Carbs means carbohydrates. So this organic acid is converted into carbohydrates, and then this carbohydrates is used to store. So it is used to store in our body. So organic acid, carbs. Organic acid turns into carbs, and this carbs is used to store. So this is about this thing, this organic acid. What is the matter about this thing? NH2. NH2, we have told that it is removed. When it is removed, so again we have NH2 here. This NH2 combines with a hydrogen molecule or a proton to give NH3, and this is our main product that we're discussing, that is ammonia. So this is ammonia, NH3. So this is how the ammonia is produced, and that process is called as deamination of amino acids. So this is about ammonotalism. So they excrete ammonia, which is called as NH3, and the process of producing, or the process of production of ammonia, or making of ammonia, synthesizing ammonia, is called as deamination of amino acids. So this is how it is occurring. So here we have organic acid when you remove NH2, and this organic acid converts into carbohydrates or carbs, and it is used to store. NH2 is removed, and it combines. It uses energy to combine NH2 with a proton or a hydrogen molecule, and it results in the formation of NH3, which is ammonia. Coming to some characteristics of NH3. So NH3, NH3 is ammonia, and it is highly toxic. It is very toxic. So it is highly toxic. Toxic means very poisonous. So we have looked at ammonia, urea, uric acid. In these three of these, ammonia is highly toxic, urea is less toxic than ammonia, and uric acid is the least toxic nitrogenous waste. So ammonia is highly toxic. This thing you need to remember. The next thing is, for 1 gram of ammonia to be released or to be excreted, 1 gram of ammonia to be excreted require or need 300 to 500 milliliters of water or H2O. So 1 gram of ammonia to be excreted means, if the organism or the monotelic organisms, if they need to excrete 1 gram of ammonia, they need this much. So this is a lot, 300 to 500 milliliters of water. That's why this monotelic organisms are usually aquatic animals, because they can afford to lose as much water as they can, because they live in aquatic water. But humans, we are not aquatic, we live on land. So that's why we are usually ureotelic organisms. We produce or we excrete urea or urine. So NH3, this is highly toxic, and 1 gram of ammonia 1 gram of ammonia to be excreted require 300 to 500 milliliters of water. Now let us discuss monotelic organisms in detail. So coming to a monotelic organisms. So the first example of a monotelic organism amoeba. So amoeba is a unicellular organism and it lives in water, it lives in fresh water. So amoeba and hydra. So amoeba is a protist and hydra is an animal and it's a coelenterate or cnidarian. So amoeba and hydra, these eliminate, so these excrete or eliminate ammonia, because that's why they're known as ammonotelic organisms. So amoeba, hydra, they eliminate ammonia by a process called simple diffusion. So simple diffusion through their body surface. So this is the most important thing, through their body surface. So amoeba, hydra, these organisms, they eliminate ammonia by simple diffusion through their body surface. So the body surface in case of amoeba, we talk about, its amoeba is actually it has an irregular shape, so it has some pseudopodia, some leg-like structures. They are extensions of the plasma membrane, so they usually help, that body surface usually help in this excretion of ammonia by the process called simple diffusion. Coming to the next part, so next organisms which excrete ammonia and are called ammonotelic organisms are planaria and earthworm. These both are animals. They come under animal kingdom only, or kingdom Animalia. So planaria and earthworm, they excrete ammonia in their urine. Planaria and earthworm, they excrete. So in their urine only they excrete this ammonia. So this is a bit strange thing, but we need to remember. So this is about planaria and earthworms, also some tadpoles also. Okay, so these three are animals. Coming to next part, bony fishes. So bony fishes is the next part. Bony fish. So bony fish, they excrete ammonia, or they eliminate bony fish, they usually excrete ammonium ions. So these are ions, charged ions. So bony fish, these excrete ammonium ions through, so what body part do they use to excrete these ammonium ions? Through their gills. So gills is a body part which is used for these bony fish to excrete these ammonium ions, which is also in the form of ammonia. So these are the three ammonotelic organisms, three classes or types of ammonotelic organisms, or three ways how this ammonia is produced. So here it's by their gills, bony fish. So let me color code it. So bony fish, they excrete ammonia. They excrete ammonium ions through their gills. Planaria, earthworm, these excrete in their urine. They excrete ammonia in their urine. And coming to amoeba, which is a protist, and hydra, which is an animal, they eliminate ammonia. These are just lower animals. That means they're not so developed. And yes, so here if you talk about simple diffusion through their body surface, so it's not so developed and advanced. Here also, and here as well. When we talk about some more classes of animal kingdom in the later videos about Platyhelminthes and some other classes of animal kingdom, when we talk about there, the excretory system is very developed. So that also we are going to take in detail in the later videos. But for now, this amoeba and hydra, they eliminate ammonia by simple diffusion through their body surface. Planaria and earthworm, they excrete the ammonia in their urine. Bony fish, they excrete ammonium ions through their gills. So in this video, we have looked at some basic introduction to excretion and osmoregulation. So excretion is removal of waste. Osmoregulation is the balance of water and iron, or it's iron and water balance, maintaining the iron and water balance in our body. And we have looked at the nitrogenous wastes examples and the three types of nitrogenous wastes, which are ammonia, urea and uric acid. We have looked at ammonia, which is highly toxic, uric acid, which is least toxic, and also we have taken a look at the production of this ammonia and some characteristics of NH3, which is ammonia, and some examples and characteristics of these ammonotelic organisms.